What up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt White, and today I'm going to tell you my thoughts on the new film called The Equalizer 3, which is a direct sequel to the first two movies that star in Denzel Washington, and it's directed by Antoine Fuqua, who made Training Day, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. I'm someone who is a fan of the first two movies. I thought the first one was great. The second one, not so as good as the first one, but it was still a decent follow-up to the movie. And I went back and watched the first two films. I rewatched the first one because I haven't watched it in a very long time and I want to refresh my memory before going into the Equalizer 2. And I started watching the Equalizer 2 when it was already on streaming on Hulu recently, and I watched it for the first time, and then I ended up liking the film, but it's still not as good as the first one, like I've already said. This was such an interesting premise, but I wasn't really like hyped for the film when it was shown in the trailers. It's just because that I haven't seen the first Equalizer in a very long time. But then looking back on the first two, it got me more excited for the third movie, and I heard that a lot of the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes got very positive feedback. So I went in and saw the film, and I'm going to tell you this right now. This is way better than the second film. I enjoyed it so much. I'm not going to say that this is one of the best films of the year, but it's definitely one of the better films and a good way to end off the summer blockbuster movie and a good introduction of the September films this year. I thought that the performances of Denzel Washington is a no-brainer. He crushes it every time he's on screen, and he has a good relationship with the director because he's worked with him on Training Day before, and he worked with him on the remake called The Magnificent Seven with Chris Pratt and a lot of the great all-star cast, which it's a film that got so like fell under the radar, but even I thought it was a good film. But I can understand why not a lot of people went out to go see it. But anyway, I thought Dakota Fanning, who was playing a CIA rookie to help Denzel Washington's character to take out the Italian mafia and help him out, this is like the second time that they've reunited since the last film that came out, I believe, back in like 2004, called Man on Fire. And she was very young at the time when she worked with Denzel Washington. So I thought it was very cute for her to work with him again. And I thought she played a bigger part of the role. She did not feel like just a throwaway character or throwaway cameo in the movie just for the sake of it. No, she definitely served a purpose. There were parts of the film that kind of like dragged on a little too long, and it was a little slow at times, but I think that the third act really did pay off for me. And if you're going in this movie expecting this to be more of a heavy-handed action flick like John Wick, this is not one of those movies. But I will say, when the action delivers, it definitely delivers. They, in this time around, it's much more grittier and a lot more gruesome than the first two movies. They made Denzel Washington's character more of the Michael Myers figure, where he's stepping into the shadows and he's very stealthy and very strategic when he's going into the fight. He does not mess around. When he's a type of character that if you mess with someone that he cares about, that he had bond with these people, he will give you a warning. And this is one of my favorite scene of the whole movie, and this was in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. This is where the guy says, "Are you threatening me?" And Denzel Washington says, "No, I'm preparing you." If you were in that room yourself, you probably would be crapping your pants. This guy is not to be messed with. He'll probably give you a warning, but he is great at reading people, and he's not going to be one of those things where he just threatens them and beats the crap out of them, and hopefully that they would let it all go and leave. No, he would always know when they were about to retaliate, because that happens a lot of these action films where the good guy beats up the bad guy and try to get them off their people's back, and then they come back and retaliate, and it gets much worse. No, he's a guy that will take you out with no questions asked. He is a ruthless killing machine. He analyzes things, everything that surrounds him, and before he makes this move, and he times it on his stopwatch, which it's part of his signature move in all three of these movies, and it's very consistent to what he has done throughout the first three. And there were moments where in the first half of the film where he's more vulnerable this time around, where he's not fully invincible, where he can actually get hurt. And that's one of the best parts of the film that I truly enjoy, that it's a little bit more grounded and not just him just kicking ass and taking names. But when he's murdering a bunch of people in this movie, he is very ruthless, and He doesn't need to use guns in order to kill people. He can use blades. He can use anything as a weapon, even though he does use guns in this movie, but he will not hesitate to kill you without any remorse. He will show you no mercy. And that's what I appreciate about this character. And another things that I wish they could have handled differently is that I wish some of the bad guys would look up on who he is, even though that they couldn't. But I wish that they had the ability to at least do research on him and always prepare for what's to come. That way it would have evened the playing field a little bit more and they would have been more prepared. But that's just one of the things that I wish they could have handled differently. But overall, this is definitely a worthy third installment. And yes, this is supposed to be the final chapter of this trilogy. I still wish they would have given us a little bit more of the satisfaction of how they wrapped it up, because once you get towards the end of the movie, even though the ending was good and it ended on a note, but it was one of those endings where it just felt like every other Equalizer film where it just ends and got its closure and moves forward, and that's it. But overall, you should definitely go out and see this movie in the theater if you're a fan of the first two movies. If you're wondering, should I watch the first two movies to know what's happening in this film? I'm going to say yes, because you will have a lot more deeper appreciation to Denzel Washington's character arc in this third installment, because I think you're going to get a little bit lost and confused at times. And you mean not as much, but I think you'll have a little bit more deeper appreciation, and it will be a little bit more rewarding for you if you watch the first two films, which I still think you should definitely see the first two movies as well before going into the third film. And I really enjoyed Dakota Fanning and Denzel Washington's screen time together. I thought the chemistry really hits it. I really believed it. It didn't feel like she was there for the sake of this, for the sake of the plot. No, like I said, she definitely played a big part of the story, and it made sense by the time you get to the end of the film, which I did not see coming. Now, what did you think of the Equalizer 3? Did you really love this movie? Did it live up to your expectations and it was everything you've hoped for? Or were you someone that disagrees with me and thought that, no, it was very unsatisfying and it was disappointing to me? Just jump down in the comment section below and leave me your thoughts. And you can go and follow my social media links. And the link tree will be down in the description down below, where you can see my social media sites there. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And hit the subscribe button for more videos, because I would really appreciate your support. I would love to get those numbers up as high as possible. Oh, and I hope you guys have a great day or a great night wherever you are, and stay safe and take care.